Yeah, hello, welcome back, students. In this tutorial, we're going to look at Python strings. Python string. String letters in Python are surrounded by either single quotes or double quotation marks. Okay, so in Python, if we have something like age, it's the same as having this. Okay. So you can display either of these. You can display it using the print function, okay, which we have been doing all along throughout this. Okay, how do we assign a string to a variable? We've been doing this all the while. So we can say what is variable age, or let's just say age, or rather a is set to age. So we have assigned the value of age, whatever is given us. In fact, this string age is assigned to this place. So let me use more understandable something. Let's say we have or rather, let's say first name is set to Izu. So Izu is actually the name that is assigned to this string, this variable first name. So if I decide, I can now say print. What are you going to print? Print first name for me. So the moment I say this and I run the program, it's going to print my name on the screen. Okay. That is how to assign a variable to a name. Sorry, assign a string to a variable. You can as well assign multi-line string to a name. So, sorry, to a variable. And you do that by using triple quotation marks. Okay. So I have this. So inside of this, I can say the next line, right here. The next line is good. I want to believe I'm good. Am I not good? Okay, so with this, you can still print first name, or let's just say print details. Let's assign this to details, and I say details. And when we run this program, you're going to find out something that however I formatted this is the way that Python is going to print it. If you notice, these lines that I assigned here, they were all printed out. So if I decide to move it as I'm doing right now to the beginning and I run the program again, is going to bring it to this place. Okay, so that's it. And I've told us that if you don't assign this to a variable like this, if you don't assign it to a variable, the Python sees this now as a multi-line comment. All right, so that is it. We're going to look at what actually are these strings. Okay, like in many other programming languages, all right, many other programming languages, strings in Python are arrays of character. So if we say first name, that's like we had before, first name, say is set to Izu. Now this thing is actually an array of characters. Okay, the array of characters represent each of them representing a Unicode character. So Python does not have a character data type. So a single character in Python is actually a string with a length of 1. Okay, the length of that string is 1. Now if we want to iterate through this, we can use the function, or rather we can use the square bracket and then the indentation number to find out each of these characters. For instance, and it's good to note that indentation, indentation that we're talking about, indexing starts from 0. So what we have here is index number 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what we have is 4 characters with index number of 0 to 3. Okay, so if I want to get the first letter here, what I'm simply going to do is to type the variable and then I'll put square bracket. In putting my square bracket, I may type 0. So when I print this, it's going to select number 1, that's I, and print for me. So look at it here. So I've run the program. Now if I print the third index of this, I'm going to get U. Okay, and that's the last of this. If I make mistake to add 4, we are going to get an error. Okay, because it is out of range. So indexing in Python starts from 0. Okay, or the length of the string -1 is the last number of indexing that we are going to have. Okay. Now we talk about, since string can be operated upon like a sequence, okay, we can return a range of characters by using the slicing syntax of Python. Now if I say this, if I just change this to details like we did before, okay, and then I come to this place and give a sentence, a good man. Now we can check the length of this string, but that's not our point for now. Now we have this, we can, since this place is 0, if we count it from here, we are going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we have 17 character spaces here. So we can decide to say print these values for me now from 4 to 9. Okay, now if we say this and we run the program, it's now telling us that 4 to 9 is from is. Okay, so if you calculate or find it out yourself, you're going to have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 is not included. Okay, so you count from 5 and 9 is inclusive, so we have 5, right? Okay, let's start afresh now. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now 6, 7, 8, 9. Now if you don't know, this thing added a space. If we say let's remove this space now and have this, and we run the program again, you are going to notice that we now have, okay, it means that what it gives you is that the index position after this is included, but the index position before this is also included. Okay, I just want us to understand the ranging now. Okay, let's say we have this now as 10. What is going to happen is that is going to, if we print this to the screen, now there is no, it's as if there is gap here. Of course there's gap here. Now if we move this, it's going to give us a good picture of what I'm talking about. Okay, we now notice that actually that space here is included in the slicing. All right, now we can have negative indexing also, and what it means is that if we use negative indexing, our numbering is going to start from this side, from the right instead of from the left. Okay, now let's assume that we now say minus 10, and then we say minus 1. What are we gonna get? If we print this, we are supposed to start from where now? Okay, let's see. Going to start from A, okay? From this side. This is minus 1. After minus 1, you now start to, we will now start 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. Okay. Minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, inclusive, 10, exclusive. Okay, so 10 is not counted. All right. Now we can measure the length of the string by printing the length function. So how are we going to do that? I'll come to this list and say print length, and then we pass the variable. Okay, and when we run the program, it's going to give us the length of the string as 17. Okay, that's Python string length. So there are also some string methods that are pre-built in Python that you can use. There is this method that strips, the method that removes white spaces from the beginning or the end of a string. Now, for instance, if I have this and there is a white space there, and I have this again, a white space again. Now, if I print this, if I run this program, I'm going to get 19 now, because I'm going to get that the length of this is 19. Okay. So, but if I now run the strip method if I run the strip method now on this particular variable here, if I run it and print it, let's see what is going to give us. Okay, so it gives us this. Now, if we run the length function here, it's going to give us 17. You see, this gave us 19 because of the white spaces that are here. Now, when I stripped it using this strip function, okay, it removed the white spaces and gave us this. You can use this to trim your input form fields that some persons are, perhaps they want to submit something like their password, so you can use it to trim whatever entry that they are entering. Okay, now we want to look at another method that is called lower. Now, that is called lower. Let's just, with this is just to say lower. Now, what happens with lower? It changes the entire thing to lowercase, and we still have this one called upper. All right. So if we run this program, we're going to, oh my God, please let me remove. Let's remove this. And let's quickly remove this. Now we can run the program. Syntax error. Where is the error? Am I having error here? Where is the error? Okay, I don't know. Let me Okay, let me quickly, what am I having? Sorry, I have some error here. Let me quickly grab it. Okay, I said I want to change to lower. Print details. And then I'm changing it to lower. Okay, so that is it. So if I run the program, I'm going to get the whole stuff in lowercase. Okay, now if I change this to upper, it's going to change the whole thing to uppercase. Okay, so that is the string function upper. Then there is string replace. The string replace takes 2 arguments. Now, inside of this, I can just say replace. It takes 2 arguments. The first argument is what you want to replace. And the second argument is what you want to use to replace it. Now, if I want to replace the character I with the character E, this is what I'm going to have. Let me be straight with what I'm doing. Okay, this is what I'm going to have. So if I run this program, what am I going to get? You see, Izu is a good man. Okay, so that is string replace. You can still split, use string split. That is the split function and split function. You can use this split function, and then the argument you are going to pass is the point where you want this thing to be splitted. So since the only thing I have inside of there is space, I can just use space to split the entire thing. So if I run this program, I'm going to get an array of characters. Okay, so what I have here is an array of characters. Remember that there is the, what is it? Remember that I have this thing, these spaces here. So if I decide to remove these spaces again and to separate this, I'm going to have something different. Look at it here. Okay, and you will notice that I now have this also 18. Okay, another thing we're going to look at is to check if a certain phrase or character is present in a string. So we can use the keyword in or not in. Okay, we can check in or not in, the keyword to check. Now, inside of what I have on the screen, what do I have? Izu is a good man. Now, let's check if is in this string. How are we going to do that? Let's just say X is set to, now, what I'm looking for is. And I say is in, and I'll call the variable name details. If this is in, if this is in, we can say print X. Now, let's see what it's going to give us. It's going to give us true, because the in and not in operator is actually a Boolean type. Okay, it specifies true or false. So is this in the string? It says yes. Okay, now we can go further to use the not in. Okay, instead of using is there, let's say not in. So if we run the program again, we are going to get false. Why? Because is in the string. Okay, now we talk about string concatenation. Now, if I have another variable called age. Okay, and I set it to 30. So I can come to this place and say is okay, is. Now I can now come and say print details plus age. Okay, so this function here is acting presently as a concatenation function that joins two strings together. Okay, if we run this program now, we are going to get, sorry, I have a type error here. Now let me use another variable. Let's call it C to save this, and then I can come and say print C. Okay, let's view. Okay, I have error. Can only concatenate string, not int. Sorry, I'm having error. Okay, I didn't look at this. So if I want, I'm going to call this int, sorry, string, this way. And if I do that, it's going to work. Now it tells me is 30. All right. Now again, I can as well, if I really want it to remain what it is, I can use the str function to convert this to a string first and then assign it to an integer. Now let's run the program again. We run the program, we still get something like this. Okay, it's good a thing that we have that error coming out. Okay, so that is concatenation. And remember, we can as well we can as well have something like this. Is now I have this, there is no white space and there is no is. So if I want to change it, if I want to put it, now that I have this, I'm going to put this thing and give the white space, type is, give another white space, and then put another concatenation operator, and I'll assign this entire thing into the C variable and run the program. I'm still going to get the same thing. Okay, so it's just to tell you that I can put my own string, my own white spaces inside here, and it will get printed out. Okay, now that I have this, there's still a way that we can combine strings, especially when inside of a sentence you have many things to adjust, and this can be done using the format method. Now the format method takes the past argument, then formats them and places them in the string where you place this placeholder, and the placeholder is actually two curly braces. Okay, now if I have, let me clear up this. If I have a string, if I have details to say my name is Izu, I am 30 years old. Okay, now I can as well come to this place, or rather if I remove this, I can have this and then I say age from what we've been looking at now. Say from age, so I can normally print details. I can normally print details plus age, and it's going to give me what? My name is Izu. I am 30. Okay. That is how we've been doing it, but this time around, I want us to use a different method to do that. Now, and that is using the format method. In this format method, I have 30 here, and here ordinarily I don't need to make it a string. I have 30 and it's a number. So I can say, I can come to this place and even type name, so I can make this dynamic. Now my name is Izu. In other words, I'm going to remove this. So for me to remove this, I'm going to put this placeholder that will take my name, and I'm going to put another placeholder here that will take my years, and I say years old. Okay, now I have this. My name is Izu. All right, let me use the word first name. My name is Izu. I am 30 years old. So this is going to be a string. Okay, that's the mistake I had before. Now when I print this, what I'm looking at, the variable I want to change is actually details. So inside of the detail, I'm going to pass the format method. Okay, so when I pass the format method, the first argument I'm going to pass is supposed to be the argument that will be placed in the first placeholder, and in this case it is going to be name, and then the second argument is the argument I'm going to pass in the second placeholder. Now I have first name and age. All right, so if I run this program now, I'm going to get my name is Izu. I am 30 years old. Now if I change this and say let this be 34, and let's just say my name is Michael. Now if I format this and print it again, I'm going to have my name is Michael. I'm 34 years old. Okay, so this is how to use the format method. And then if we have several things here, we can as well change, place the indexing that we want. Let's just say that we have an indexing of 1 here, and then indexing of 0 here. Now what it means is that what this thing is going to print is that when it calculates this sequence, the first thing inside of this is going to be our 0, because indexing starts from 0. So the first thing is going to take the first element or the first argument of the format method and place it where it sees 0, and it takes the second argument and places it where it sees 1. Now this is done for you to enforce order. All right, now as it is now, if I run this program, I'm going to get my name is 34. I am Michael years old. Which doesn't make sense. Now let's run it and see. You see, my name is 34. I am Michael years old. All right, now why is this so? Because what is seen here is index location 1. So if you come to this place, this is 0, the next one is 1. So for us to use this method, we are going to be sure of the order with which we are writing our code. So it gives you the ability to enforce order, okay, so that you will not make mistake of where to place a certain something. Now I've changed it, and it's reading my name is Michael and I am 34 years old. Okay, there are times that you will need to insert characters that are illegal in a string. So at such times, you will need to use an escape character. An escape character is usually a backslash followed by the character you want to insert. So an example of an illegal character at some point in time is actually something like a double quote or single quote. Now, in this place, I already have name, and the moment I want to place another single quote, another double quote, you now see what happens here. Okay, what is it that happens? This particular single quote closes this particular string, and the rest of the string becomes an error. So, but if we intend that we have to have these two single quotes inside of this place, what are we going to do? We are going to escape it using the backslash character. Now, as I've escaped this particular one, this system is now reading this entire thing as a string, and yet the remaining is still an error. So if I want to escape this one too, I am going to put this. Now, as it is now, my work is clear. Now, why is it done that way? It is when you want this thing to also be printed on the screen. Okay, now if I run this program now, I'm going to get name in quotes. All right, so that is how and when to use escape character in a string. Okay, and there are several other string methods in Python that you need to get familiar with. You just need to look at Python documentation and get your way around it. Okay, we are going to stop it here with Python strings, but there are still a lot of things to learn. Okay, thank you very much. See you again in the next tutorial.